Today, on The Power of Framing, we'll kickstart the week with a short story to frame a new virtue and gain a renewed focus. Are you ready? Let's step into the vault. Welcome to Monday. What expansion joints do you need to cut into your life so it flexes with people instead of breaking against them? Do you remember those sidewalk cracks that seemed to be intentionally and evenly spaced as you walked home from the park with your friends when you were a kid? I think they were supposed to break your mom's back or something if you stepped on them, right? And for those with mommy issues, please don't comment or confirm or deny if you intentionally stepped on them in hopes of breaking your mom's back. We don't care. It's a little weird, but I digress. As a kid, I knew better than to think those cracks were just for the game. See, my dad worked construction. It's sort of in the branding everywhere. We've talked about this. But there's so much that can be learned from structures and construction. And I knew the purpose of those things, and I knew their name. They were in concrete sidewalks, and they were called expansion joints. He taught me these things. So sure, I played the games, but I realized early on just how important it was for even the strongest materials and structures to have the essential characteristic if it was going to last. And that is flexibility. Thinking about this episode and this story and how I wanted to frame it, it got me sort of nostalgic. So I decided to give you a little insight into the shirt I'm wearing. This was my dad's, and I wore it just for this, just because I can. He bought it at Walmart years ago when I was really little for $5. It's a great shirt jacket. It's perfect for working, wearing. When I was a kid, he used to wear it all the time. On construction sites, around the house, to chilly fall ball games, and somehow it's become one of my favorite shirts for too many reasons to list. But enough of memory lane for now. When I worked with concrete later on in my life for engineering firms and just building stuff, and also now as a behavioral scientist, the deeper analogy I'm trying to paint and the truth about flexibility became even clearer. You see, expansion joints, they're not flaws, they're not mistakes or cracks that are going to hurt the structure. They're intentional cuts, designed flex points that let concrete expand and contract with the freeze-thaw cycles of the seasons, and the ignorant builder skips them, thinking strength means rigidity and a uniform structure. But the first real change in weather exposes the weakness. The wise architect plans for them, knowing true strength requires flexibility. And I've found the same is true in my life. As a husband, as a father of 3 daughters, and as a friend, I need those expansion joints because the same situation with my 3 little girls often requires 3 completely different responses. I have to be flexible. What looks like one moment is really 3 unique needs, 3 unique communication opportunities, and I can't miss any of them. If I try to lead rigidly with a one-size-fits-all rule and no space to flex, I create unnecessary tension and cracks in our relationships. And it just doesn't work. It won't last. It's not how it was meant to be built. But when I intentionally build in flex points, ways of listening differently, communicating differently, adapting differently, it allows us to grow together instead of spall apart under pressure. And yes, I meant spall and not fall apart. Look it up and learn something new for yourself today if you aren't familiar with that word. You'll use it in concrete. You'll understand it if you read it. And this is bigger than family. It's a leadership issue. Every culture, from the home to a C-suite to military to mom and pop bakery where you have employees working for you, it doesn't really matter. Everything is set and the tone is set by leadership. And cultures are caught before they're taught. So if leaders model rigidity or senseless rules that can't flex with people or situations, then the culture is rigid. And eventually it's going to fracture. It's going to spall apart. But when leaders design with expansion joints, when they model flexibility in their character, and when they create space for necessary adaptation, it doesn't change the ingredients that make up who they are, but they appreciate that seasonal changes are going to come and they have to be ready to flex. And it allows their people to thrive regardless of the climb or the place that they find themselves in. So flexibility doesn't weaken the structure. It's what keeps it standing. So let me ask, is your marriage, parenting, friendship, or leadership style just one tough-looking slab with a beautiful deck coating, but it's lacking expansion joints, and it's really just ready to crack as soon as the first shift in season approaches? Or is it a deliberate design that's proven to flex exactly when and where it's needed? And here's the good news. Even if you've skipped the joints in the initial construct, there's hope. Something I learned working alongside my dad, probably in this shirt jacket a lot, is that while he did a lot of new construction, his specialty was restoration work and reconstruction, because even the toughest and most beautiful structures and people eventually need repair. They need help or remediation on a faulty design. It might be painful and it comes with a cost, but it's always worth it if you really want to salvage and keep that structure standing and lasting. And in relationships and business, it's much deeper than just appreciating a bias or understanding that there's behavioral tendencies and differences. Flexibility is a mindset shift, one that chooses to respond differently and deliberately in an effort to be steadfast, unmovable, and always abounding together. That's why I can't wait to dive into this virtue with you over the next 2 weeks. And Jens and I are so excited to dive into the vault, take it off the hinges, and unpack this together for you this coming week on Friday. So, as we frame it and explore it this week and dive into flexibility, I'm going to take us back to the start and ask again, what expansion joints do you need to cut into your life so it flexes with people instead of breaking against them? I'll see you on Wednesday. Thanks for tuning into this episode of The Power of Framing. Follow Foundational Coaching on your favorite social media platform, where I'll meet you on Wednesday and you can ask me anything you want. I'm honored to be a part of your story today, and I'm proud of your growth, my friend. I can't wait for our next time together, exploring the vault.